All right, let's talk about remote work. For so many of us, this isn't some temporary thing or a nice little perk anymore, is it? It's just how we work. We've swapped our commutes for clicks and the office water cooler for video calls. So today, we're going to dive into how to not just get by in this new normal, but how to absolutely crush it.
But we gotta be honest, it's a real double-edged sword. On one hand, you've got all this amazing flexibility, but on the other, there's that constant feeling of being always on, you know? How do you actually clock out when your office is also your living room? That's the big paradox we're all wrestling with, trying to balance that freedom with the very real risk of just completely burning out.
So, to get some real answers, we're turning to an incredible resource. Our guide for today's explainer is the HBR Guide to Remote Work. And trust me, this thing is just packed with brilliant insights from top experts on how to actually make this new world of work for you.
And the promise at the heart of this guide is, well, it's pretty powerful. It's not just about surviving or getting your work done. It's about mastering the skills to become so valuable, so effective, that it literally doesn't matter where you are. It's about making yourself indispensable.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're gonna break it all down into 3 core pillars from the guide: mastering your productivity, your connections, and your well-being. And we'll see how all of those things build up to that ultimate goal of becoming truly indispensable.
First up, Pillar 1, mastering your productivity. I mean, this is the absolute bedrock of everything. If you can't be effective when you're on your own, then none of the other stuff really matters. So, how do you build that solid foundation?
Well, the guide points to 3 essential habits. First, and this is huge, establish clear working hours. You've got to create that mental line between your work life and your home life. Second, structure your day. Be intentional. Maybe you block out a couple of hours for pure deep work with no interruptions. And third, you have to set boundaries with others. Let your family and friends know when you're at the office, even if the office is 10 feet away.
And to keep that momentum going all day, the guide has some fantastic tips. Taking regular breaks, that's not being lazy, it's actually crucial for your brain to recharge. Make an effort to stay connected with your colleagues, to fight off that feeling of isolation. And here's a big one. Celebrate your wins. Acknowledge what you got done each day. It creates this awesome positive feedback loop. It's all about building routines that last. Okay, let's shift gears to our next pillar, mastering your connections. Because, let's face it, your success isn't just about what you can produce by yourself. It's all about how you collaborate and communicate with the rest of your team.
Now, this is a really fascinating idea from the guide, the concept of lost data. See, in an office, we're constantly picking up all this soft data, body language, a quick glance, the vibe in a room. But when we're remote, we're mostly left with hard data, scheduled calls, emails, direct messages. We lose all that spontaneous in-between stuff, which means we have to be way more proactive about building those connections.
And this loss of soft data can make conflict especially tough to handle. A misunderstood email can spiral out of control for days. That's why this advice from expert Amy Gallo is so blunt and so perfect. When things get tense, just stop typing. A real-time conversation, whether it's a call or a video chat, is just essential for actually understanding where the other person is coming from and working things out.
And this goes double, no, tenfold, for the most important relationship you have at work, the one with your boss. The guide suggests creating a kind of virtual contract. Basically, just agree on how you'll communicate, how often, and what the expectations are. And hey, don't be afraid to get a little personal. Sharing a bit about your life outside of work helps build that trust that physical distance can so easily wear away.
And that brings us to our final and, maybe the most important pillar of all, mastering your well-being. Because let's be real, high performance means nothing if it's not sustainable. Burnout is the ultimate productivity killer, period.
The guide totally flips the script on what we think resilience is. We have this idea that it's about gritting your teeth, pushing through, and just enduring exhaustion. But that's not it at all. True resilience isn't about how tough you are. It's about how smart you are about recovery. It's all about how you recharge.
And this slide really nails a critical difference. Think about it. You can stop working and lie on the couch for an hour. That's rest. But if you're still thinking about that stressful project or doom scrolling on your phone, you are not recovering. Recovery is an active process. It means truly giving your brain a break, a full mental reset.
So how do you actually do that? The guide gives us a really clear strategy. Create zones in your house where tech is not allowed so you can actually disconnect. And try to take a short cognitive break every 90 minutes. Seriously, this isn't about slacking off, it's based on how our brains work. Your brain is like a muscle. It needs to rest to perform at its best.
Okay,
So we've laid the foundation with productivity, we've strengthened it with great connections, and we're sustaining it all with our well-being. Now it's time to put it all together and talk about that ultimate goal, becoming indispensable.
So what does it all boil down to? The guide gives us these 5 core habits. It all starts with really knowing what's expected of you and, just as important, knowing when to say no. It's about deciding what your thing is, what you want to be known for, and then you finish what you start. And finally, you never stop getting better at collaborating, making the work better for everyone involved.
When you think about it, being indispensable isn't about being some kind of hero who works around the clock. Not at all. It's about being a reliable, high-value partner who gets the right things done, builds strong relationships, and manages their own energy so they can keep showing up. It's really the art of being incredibly useful no matter where your desk happens to be.